What is up, Star Wars fans? I'm Star Wars Only. Today we're going to do a video of Rogue One versus The Force Awakens. Which is truly better? This is a hot topic with Star Wars fans because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, The Force Awakens is better, and a lot of people are saying, no, Rogue One is better because, you know, Rogue One just came out, so it's a little fresh on people's minds, and The Force Awakens was copy and paste. I mean, there's so many aspects to this on why which one's better and which one's not. So, I'm going to try to give you my best analysis on what I think makes a good Star Wars film, and if these two films have it, and which one is better than the other. There's going to be certain points I'll give, like on acting, character development, emotional appeal, plot, setting, nostalgia, action. I already said action, but you get the point. I'm going to go over a lot of things like this to make my point clear on which one I think is better in the end. I'm going to have almost no bias on this because this is a really hard choice for me. I'm not going to really care who wins in the end. So, let's dive right into this on which one is better, The Force Awakens or Rogue One. So the first thing we have in a movie is the plot of the movie. What's the plot with Rogue One and what's the plot with The Force Awakens? Force Awakens has the main plot, which is basically finding Luke Skywalker. That's the entire premise of the movie. That's how everything starts. They're looking for Luke Skywalker. That's what the First Order's doing. They're looking for it. Now, a lot of people are critiquing The Force Awakens because of the copy and paste of A New Hope, saying the plot's the same. They are wrong. They are also right, though. The subplot to it is basically destroying the Death Star, blah, 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 hoobly hoo-ha. Because, Poe didn't find, the plans to Starkiller Base. He simply found the map to Luke Skywalker. And so, in a way, they kind of merged themselves in the end. They weren't specifically trying to destroy the Starkiller Base in the beginning. The whole goal was to find Luke Skywalker. So, that plot in of itself is simple and easy, but the subplot in it kind of mixes it together where they have to take care of Starkiller Base first so they don't die, and then they can go find Luke Skywalker. So the whole plot was to find Luke Skywalker, but that subplot was destroying Starkiller Base, which, yes, I agree, is a copy and paste of A New Hope, but the entire film is not a copy and paste of A New Hope, because they weren't really looking for, Obi-Wan Kenobi throughout the whole movie. It was just Princess Leia wanted him in the first 10 minutes, and stuff like that. So, yes, it's a lot the same, but it's not entirely accurate to call it the exact same thing. But I agree with you. So that is the same. But with Rogue One, you have the plot of, it's very simple, and that's why I like it, of we need to get the Death Star plans, and in order to do that, we need to find Jyn Erso, get her father. That's it. The subplot would technically be Jyn Erso finding her father and whatnot, but in the end, the entire thing was simply just finding the Death Star plans. So since the plot was a lot more simple, I feel like Rogue One has the better plot in general, because it's a lot more simple than The Force Awakens, easier to understand, and it doesn't feel like a copy and paste anywhere. It's not an exact copy. The subplot, for example, isn't an exact copy of A New Hope. So in my opinion, I think Rogue One has the better plot overall, just due to its simplicity. I mean, it's not a great plot, but it's so simple, it's so easy, it's hard to complain about the plot, because it is so just small and easy to, have. So, in terms of points, we're going to give the first point to Rogue One in winning of plot. Surprisingly, another important thing in a film is the pacing. The pacing of a film has to be done properly. I feel like Rogue One rushed through everything. Every scene was very fast-paced, except for the first 10 minutes. Almost all the Empire scenes, which I mean Director Krennic and whatnot, those scenes weren't as rushed. And then the scene before the Battle of Scarif, where they were setting up for it and everything. But other than that, the film was mostly rushed. Every scene was back to back, planet to planet, constantly going forward. I get the rebels are in a rush to get the Death Star plans, but you can't build on a scene if you're going to speed right through it. That's something that you need to do. That's why the Battle of Scarif was so epic and kind of emotional, is because they took a little more time to build up that scene and to make it really good and make it what it was. Other than that, Rogue One rushed through everything. I didn't feel like I could build up on any scenes. I didn't feel like I could actually enjoy a lot of the scenes because they were so fast-paced where you're like, alright, well, I have to go back and watch it a second time to understand the scene better and see it again and everything just to make sure I know what I saw. If you can build up a scene, slow the pace down, and then when the scene happens, the action happens, then you can speed it up all you want. But they didn't do that. They were very fast-paced in this movie, and I feel like it really made the movie less emotional than it could have been. And it could have made a lot of scenes better. That's where I feel like The Force Awakens did a lot better with the pacing. Was some scenes were slow and some scenes were fast. Force Awakens, introducing the characters was very slow-paced. Han meeting Leia, that was a very slow-paced scene to make you actually enjoy the moment, make you actually enjoy them seeing each other. Then you have, what was it? Them getting chased by the guys from Kanja Club and whatnot. Those scenes were a little faster paced. That's okay, that's fine, because you had a fast paced scene, and then they were traveling to that planet that Maz Kanata is on, or whatever her name is. That you had that scene where they're traveling to that planet. That was slow paced. They were just traveling through hyperspace. That's something we can enjoy. That's something we can take time to build up and see what's going to happen. And then when Han dies, his death scene, that was a slower paced scene as well. Kylo Ren was just kind of slowly walking to him, then building up the emotion in the scene, and then him just killing him. With Rogue One, everything was fast paced. I get there in the middle of a battle, but even then, you shouldn't rush into things like that completely. If you want it to be emotional, you have to slow the scene down just a little bit. And they kind of did with, like Donnie Yen's character, and then when Jin and the captain died at the end, they're just kind of sitting there watching the sunset and death knocking on their door and them saying hello. Stuff like that was a little slower, but it should have been a better pace, in my opinion. Now, you might completely disagree with me and call me stupid for this, but I want you to tell me how they could have paced it better or how I'm stupid about this. Don't sit there and comment saying, oh, you don't know what pacing is, when you can't even explain to me what it is. So I feel like Force Awakens wins in this category of pacing because it was slow and fast, and it balanced it out pretty fine. However, Rogue One was very fast, and very few scenes were slow-paced, but when they were good. I will admit that. So, this point goes to The Force Awakens for pacing. Another big part in a movie, especially a Star Wars movie for us fans, would be the acting. A huge role in almost any movie can make or break a movie in general. The acting in the two films. Now, Force Awakens, I think the acting was pretty much fine. I don't think Daisy Ridley's the greatest actor of all time, but I don't think she's the worst either. I didn't enjoy her too much, but I didn't hate her either. She did fine. Finn and Poe, I like the acting on those two. What's his name? Oscar Isaac and John Boyega. They did fine. They really built their characters well. You could see the connection between Finn and Poe immediately. That's something that I really wanted from the prequels on Anakin and Obi-Wan that we didn't get to see too well, but that's the writing. But still, with Finn and Poe, you really saw the connection. You really saw that kind of brotherly love and that best friendship bond just almost instantly happen. That was nice. That's good acting. That's not even the writing, so to speak. It is, but it's not. It was really the actors that pulled that together, and that was really cool. Same with Finn and Rey. You saw the bond between them, where a lot of people were like, are they in love or are they just friends? I think they're just friends, but it's still nice to see that bond being made, and that's the good acting that's in this movie. I know a lot of people say Carrie Fisher wasn't the greatest actor, may she rest in peace, in the originals, but she did fine in this movie. I think she didn't have a huge role, she didn't have a minimal role either. Harrison Ford did fine, Mark Hamill looked at a screen for 5 seconds, stuff like this, fine acting. The only kind of critiques I'll give on the acting for The Force Awakens would be Kylo Ren's character, actor, Adam Driver, and then General Hux, I think is his name. I can't, forgive me for not remembering, I don't really care. They're good actors, don't get me wrong, they're actually really good actors. However, the acting in them when they were going against each other was very different. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't bad acting in my opinion, I think it was bad writing, because it seemed instead of like two rival superiors and whatnot, high-level generals battling out, it was more of two children not getting their way and acting kind of sad. That wasn't so much as the acting, but the writing, because those two are good actors, but I feel like the acting also could have been a little better in those scenes. Rogue One, I feel like a lot of the acting wasn't that great, because you didn't get to see too much of the acting. Jyn Erso's character, actress, what's her name? I can't remember to save my life, but the lady who played Jyn Erso, I feel like did not play her role well at all. I couldn't stand half the scene, not even half the scenes. I couldn't stand any of the scenes she was in. When she was crying when her father sent her a hologram, I cringed. I didn't feel any emotion there. I was like, why are you crying? Like, you're acting, like you act all tough and now you're vulnerable? Like, I'm confused on why this, like, why is your crying looking so fake? Like, it was very bad acting in my opinion, Guys like Donnie Yen and his best friend in the movie were fine. The captain did fine. A lot of the characters were basically okay. I feel like the main lead wasn't the greatest at the acting role itself. I just felt like a lot of the scenes were forced. Jyn Erso's dad as well, he seemed to do fine. Director Krennic was great. I actually liked the acting in him. And then sadly, the best acting in the movie was actually Tarkin, the guy who played Tarkin, whoever it was, the CGI Tarkin, was the best acting in the film. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. It was perfect for a guy that's been dead since, what, 1994? So that was pretty cool. In terms of acting, though, I would have to lean more towards The Force Awakens. Now, this might be a disagreement between us two, but I feel like if your main lead is not doing their job as an actor and not making me feel the emotions as they should, then that's something bad. If the subplot characters, the characters that aren't the main characters, like kind of the sideline guys, like the captain, you know, Donnie Yen's character and his best friends, if their acting is better than the main lead's acting, then that's something wrong. Daisy Ridley, you could say, is the main... Daisy Ridley, not Ridley. Daisy Ridley. She's the main actor in The Force Awakens. She's the lead role. And her acting was pretty okay. If you compare the two, I feel like Daisy Ridley did the best. But it wasn't amazing, it was just better. So I feel like The Force Awakens gets the point in this category of acting. That's it for today, guys. That was part 1 of Rogue One versus The Force Awakens. Comment your thoughts below. Tell me if you think Rogue One's better than The Force Awakens, or if you think The Force Awakens is better than Rogue One. I'm making this into a series, just, you know, maybe 3 parts to it, just so I can take time to actually work on each part of the video and whatnot, and not kill you with an hour-long video or a 30-minute long video. I'm going to try to keep each video underneath 10 minutes. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts below. May the Force be with you, always.